Hey, how's it going? Getting things set up here. Want to go over our big Hall of Fame induction today. In fact, this was the largest member induction in the Hall of Fame ever. There were 25 inductees, but truthfully, a lot of them were from the previous two, because now they're actually having a ceremony where they put the bronze plaques up. So they, took everybody, put them back in the ceremony. So the induction ceremony goes on every year. So they just needed to include everybody. But this one in 1939 had 10 new members. We're only going over 9, and the 9 are just players alone. So does any of that make sense? 10 players being inducted. 10 people being inducted, 9 of which are actually players. And then they included everybody from before, 25, as a portion of this year's induction, so they can include the ceremony, because they didn't get a ceremony. This was the very first ceremony of the Hall of Fame. That makes sense. I'm sure it does. Okay. We'll go over the cost of the cards at the end of the showing. We'll also go over the budget. What it was and when we need to get it going, and just so you know, here are the ground rules again. This will be helpful. All right, I won't go over it. I won't read it. I'll just keep talking here a little bit about who we've got going in. Like I said, we've got 9 of the people going in for this year's Hall of Fame induction for just the players. And let's go ahead and get started. I've left that up long enough. And by the way, these are not under any circumstances are they in any certain order. I'm just going through these. So the very first one is Cap Anson. Cap Anson was baseball's first true superstar. He played in 27 seasons from 1871 to 1897. That's a long time. He played for the Chicago White Stockings. He finished with a .334 batting average, 3,435 hits, 97 home runs, and 2,075 RBIs, while leading the National League in batting twice and RBIs 8 times. Now, those numbers might seem a little small to you, and they are. They're just because of the dead ball era. The dead ball era means just that. The ball didn't travel very far. His accomplishments, earned him a place in the Hall of Fame. Cap did. But his legacy is deeply tarnished by his outspoken racism. In 1883, he refused to take the field because the team they were playing had an African-American catcher, Moses Fleetwood Walker. And he said, no, I don't want to do it. We're not going to do it. But they kind of came to him and said, hey, look, if you're not going to do it, we're not going to pay you. So, money talks. So he went out and played anyway. But his influence had reach. And for many, many years, decades, the color barrier existed, partially because of this guy. This is a 2003 Upper Deck SP Legendaries cut. It's from a set of those cards. These are nice-looking cards. Cap Anson. All right, let's go with the number 2. Again, we're not in any order here. All right, this is Eddie Collins. Eddie Collins, before becoming a Hall of Famer, Eddie briefly played under the name Eddie Sullivan. That's because he was attending Columbia University, and he had to protect his amateur eligibility while playing semi-pro baseball. And he was kind of sneaking around, but it failed. Blew up in his face, cost him his collegiate eligibility. But fortunately, Philadelphia Athletics manager Connie Mack recognized Collins' talent, signed him in 1906. And Collins went on to build a remarkable career, batting a .333. He had 3,315 hits, 47 home runs, and 1,299 RBIs. He got traded to Chicago, the Chicago White Sox in 1917, and was a member of that 1919 Black Sox team. But he remained untouchable, a respected leader whose integrity was never questioned. That's Eddie Collins, a 1999 Upper Deck Sporting News Top 50 player. That's the set. Okay, this next card is kind of one of my favorite cards. It's actually one of my favorite small sets, and it's the HTA set. We'll go over that in just a second. This is George Sisler, remembered as being one of the greatest hitters, but he was also an outstanding pitcher because, well, he was born in Ohio, and he attended the University of Michigan, which is right down the street here, about an hour. And he threw a no-hitter, and while throwing that no-hitter, Cy Young was his umpire. Yeah, he was there. He joined the St. Louis Browns in 1915 as a pitcher, and Sisler even defeated Walter Johnson on a couple of occasions. But they moved him wisely to first base, and that paid off because in 1920 he batted .407 with an incredible 257 hits. Then he followed with a .420 average in 1922. Sisler finished his Hall of Fame career batting .340, 2,812 hits, 102 home runs, and 1,178 RBIs. Now, this is a 2010 Topps Logo Man Home Team Advantage card. Now, these cards were at special card stores, and they came out every week, and you would go down and pick them up to complete the set. I think they're pretty. There are a lot of different colors, and they all have that logo on the front. Beautiful card. Okay. All right. Kind of looking forward to this one. Old Hoss Radbourn deserves a disclaimer because, well, he did something other than play great baseball. So he's widely credited as being the first person ever photographed giving the middle finger. It said it made him famous, just that one picture, you know. And here he is behaving himself. Here is the team picture. And if you need a close-up, here you go. Back to you, old Hoss. Now on the mound, however, Radbourn was an extraordinary pitcher. He finished with 310 wins, 194 losses, and a stellar 2.68 ERA. His greatest season came in 1884. You're not going to believe this. When he carried the Providence Grays to the National League pennant, Radbourn threw an astonishing 678 2/3 innings. He started 73 games, won an incredible 60 games, and posted a 1.38 ERA. Struck out 441 batters that season. That's one of baseball's greatest pitching seasons. Now, the card is from the 2021 Historic Autographs Famous Americans set. A lot of really cool cards in there. You want to see one of the cards of him flipping off? Maybe Topps will make that a special card someday. Okay, this next player, this next member, I never heard of. I didn't know who this guy was. It's Candy Cummings. And at first glance, when I saw his name, I thought Candy may have been an All-American Girls Professional League player that made it into the Hall of Fame. But no, that's his name. Well, not really. His stats, however, were 145 wins, 94 losses, and a 2.42 ERA. But his real contribution to the game, more than just stats. That's true. Because Candy invented and threw the curveball. Yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy that figured it out. A huge game-changing pitch. And in fact, in 1875, while playing for the Hartford Dark Blues, he won 35 games, losing only 12. Okay, so his real name is William Arthur Cummings. And yeah, Candy was a nickname, but you know, it was a Civil War era nickname and it was slang for anybody that was considered the very best at what they did. So he was considered that. This is a 2008 Tobacco Road Series card. There are a lot of really cool cards from this set, but it gets really expensive. I'm not even sure where you can pick these up at. Okay, next one. The next inductee is Buck Ewing, another pioneer of the game. He was the first catcher to ever make it to the Hall of Fame. He was credited with the introduction of the padded glove. Oh, and the snap throw. That made him one of the best defensive backstops of his time. He batted .303, had 1,625 hits, 71 home runs, and 883 RBI. This card here is a 2021 Panini Cooperstown Crystal Collection card. Buck Ewing. All right, so this next one here is Wee Willie Keeler. Now, as his name implies, he was a diminutive little ball player, just 5'4", but William Henry Keeler, that was his real name, was fast, and he was one of the best contact hitters in the history of the game, not just his era. He had a 44-game hitting streak that bridged the years 1896 to 1897, and it stood for more than a century. He batted .341, had 2,932 hits, 33 home runs, and 810 RBIs. And this cool card has like a little frame that kind of outlines it here. It's the 2005 Panini Diamond Kings card. Wee Willie Keeler. That's a nice card. All right. This next one, I got to be honest, I always thought he was famous for something else other than play. But he was a player. I guess I could just say he was truly baseball royalty. But you may not know the history. Al Spalding was a great pitcher for the Boston Red Stockings. He won 251 games, lost only 65, and had a 2.13 ERA. He went on to manage the White Stockings in 1871 to 1876, then became part owner of the team. He took his players on a world tour to showcase them and the game. He also became one of the people that helped create the National League. Oh, and as a player, he set a trend for wearing a glove out in the field, which started his sporting goods company. And you know it as Spalding. Al Spalding. This card is from the 2012 Panini Cooperstown Crystal Collection and is numbered 367 out of 499. All right. Final guy that was inducted in 1939 is somebody that is no stranger to you, I'm sure, even if you're just new to the hobby. This is Lou Gehrig. Now, the reason we're a little late on putting this video out is because I had to wait for this card and the Hoss Radburn card. They were slow to get in, and I changed my mind on this. I actually have one of these Legends cards of Lou in my collection, but I saw this on a break and on YouTube, and I thought, that's the card I want to represent Lou in my collection. So, you know this legend, and you know about his courage and his humility, and you know about his speech. So you probably know all about everything else, his stats and all the stuff that made him famous. But, you know, he had a couple of little tidbits that you might find, well, interesting. See, his number was 4. Number 4, Lou Gehrig. And he was numbered 4 because he batted right after number 3, who was Babe Ruth. That's how he got that number. And also, you know the guy that replaced in the field, Wally Pipp, who, he had a headache and he sat out that game in 1925. And the quote from Wally Pipp was, "I took the 2 most expensive aspirins in history." Stats are .340 average for Lou, 493 home runs, 2,721 hits, 1,995 RBIs. And that's a beautiful card, isn't it? It's from the 2025 Topps Update 1995 35th Anniversary Chrome. And it's beautiful. That's why I wanted it for this collection. Okay. That was a lot of cards. It was, like I said, the biggest induction of ball players in the history of the Baseball Hall of Fame. How did I do with the budget? Well, let's take a look at it. The Cap Anson card was $4. The Eddie Collins card was $1.50. George Sisler was the cheapest one out of there, one of the better looking cards, but at just $1. Hoss Radburn was $3.50. And like I said, I had to wait for that thing to come in the mail, and it took forever. Candy Cummings was the most expensive card at $7.75. And if you go out and look for Candy Cummings online, you'll find a photograph of him sitting with all these ball players, and that's where this card was taken from. It's from that photograph. Candy Cummings, $7.75. Buck Ewing was just $1.50. Willie Keeler, his card was $4. Al Spalding, he was a $2 card. And Lou Gehrig, the one I had to kind of wait for, was $4.50, but it was worth it. Total for this group of cards was $29.75. The total from the previous videos of all the other inductees was $27.92. So the new total is $57.67. My budget is $925. I think I'm doing pretty good right now. There's a lot of ball players to be had. I'm kind of hoping we can keep it within budget. And I'm hoping I'll be able to have it completed by opening day of next year, should there be a next year. Okay, that is it. And I thank you very much for checking this out, this video. Here the cards are in the plastic sheets as they're going to be shown in my binder. Thank you very much for tuning me in, and I appreciate it very much. If you can, please like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. And we'll talk soon.
Cardboard meditation helps set your mind right. Thank you for watching. Show us your appreciation by clicking the like and subscribe button. Ring the bell while you're at it so you'll know when we upload a new story.